Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leïla, and on this channel I talk about personal development and my life here in Seoul, South Korea. In today's video we are going to talk about moving abroad, living abroad. And I know some people out there are interested in moving to a different country but have no idea where to begin. So if you are that person and you need some pointers, keep on watching. As someone who has lived in Korea for 2 years and 4 months and who had spent 2 years preparing for this move, I'm going to use my personal experience, but of course this is not just limited to Korea. It is valid for any places in the world where you wish to move to. I believe there are 3 pillars that are necessary in order for this experience to be as smooth as possible. Pillar number 1 would be having a game plan. Pillar number 2 would be money, and pillar number 3 would be your mindset. So let's dive into each one of them. So let's talk about your game plan. I divided this category into 2 different parts, and number 1 would be the time frame. So obviously you have to ask yourself the question, is this move temporary or is it permanent? Let's say the move is temporary. Now the question is, am I going to stay there for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years? Once you determine that, you have to figure out how you're going to stay there. Is it going to just be like long-term vacation, or you're going to be there as a student, or you're going to be there as an au pair, or you're going to do a work holiday visa kind of thing? So you have to think about the ways that would accommodate the period of time you wish to stay in the country. Now let's say you're like me and you're thinking more of a permanent type of thing, like long term, which is okay. Now you have to think about how that's going to happen. Or you're going to have to find a job and be sponsored by a company, or you're going to have to get married to someone in the country to be able to stay. So once you figure out the period, then you obviously have to figure out the way to stay there. The second part in your game plan is to think about your motivation. Why do you want to move abroad? Why do you want to move to that specific country? What's about the country you love so much? Are you aware of the culture of the country? Are you aware of the downsides and the disadvantages of living in that specific country? You have to do your research and you have to make sure that this is really something that you want. And then you also have to have a plan B, because once you get there, what if you don't like the experience? What if all of a sudden it's not something that you want to do? What's next? So you kind of have to also think about plan B in case plan A does not work out. Now let's move on to the money part. So now that you have an idea of whether it's temporary or if it's long term, then working on your finances would be easier, because the budget of someone who's staying abroad for a year is not going to be the same as someone who stays there for only 6 months, or someone who wants to stay there permanently, obviously, right? So that's why I said the game plan part is the most important one. The first step, the second step now is to think about money, because without money there's not much you can do in this world, unfortunately. So when it comes to money, you have to, at least the way I think about it, you need to work on your budget in the country you want to live in. So you have to figure out how much money you will need every month in that specific country. And the way you do that is either you get in touch with someone like me, for example, who can help you if you were to move to Korea, or do some research online if it's a different country or whatever. And as you're working on your budget, you also kind of have to look at it both ways. I would call one a survival budget and the other one a comfortable budget. So to me, a survival is basically, having enough money to cover your rent, your food, and a little bit of entertainment here, but that's it. Like, you're not going to live like a grandiose life at all. And then the comfortable budget is everything but some shopping involved, some recreational activities involved, etc. So once you figure out your survival budget and then your comfortable budget, then you can start saving money towards your trip. Okay, now of course the survival mode is not something I would advise unless you are doing this temporary, but if it's long-term living in survival mode in a foreign country, you are kind of bound to be miserable. So I would advise against that. If you were to work on a budget, then might as well just work on a decent budget that's going to allow you a decent living, and then just focus on that and make sure you have that much money saved for that purpose. Once you have figured out your budget in that country and how much money you would need to live comfortably for the time period that you have in mind, you now need to work on your current financial situation. You would have to look into your bank account, see how much debt you have, see how much money you're generating every month, see how much money you can save, etc. Now, people usually go into saving mode, which is good, but you have to understand that in order to accelerate your process, there's only so much money you can put aside by just saving. You have to generate more. And that could be either you get a promotion at work and you start earning a bigger salary, or that could be you going the entrepreneurial route and try to generate money through online activities. Whatever it is, as much as you're saving the money you currently have, you also need to generate money to be put aside as well. Last but not least, let's talk about mindset. And when it comes to mindset, there are certain things that I want you to keep in mind, and I'm going to share them with you, not in a specific order, but like things that I deem to be very important. Number one would be mind your attitude, and that is something I like to tell myself over and over because it's very important. The reason being is that your experience would be a direct reflection of what you're thinking. And whatever that's happening in your mind is most likely what you're going to manifest. So if your thoughts are completely negative, you would be experiencing negative situations over and over again. And you can easily see that when you are in the same setting as someone else and you have a completely different experience as that person, although you were there at the same time doing the same thing. Why? Because we are looking at situation through a certain lens, and it's all colored by our experiences and who we are as a person, our mindset, etc. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that as you are living in a different country, you'll be experiencing things that you've never experienced before, and I just want you to keep an open mind and have this ability not to let things affect you too much, have this ability to regulate your emotions, and try to always see things as positive as possible, and just be grateful, because gratitude is going to take you very, very far. And I know I say that all the time, but gratitude is going to take you far. And if you see things through the lens of a person full of gratitude, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I'm not saying that the world is a perfect place and that nothing bad is going to happen to you. What I'm saying is whenever that bad thing is going to happen to you, because of your attitude, you'll be able to handle it better, as opposed to someone who just didn't have that kind of mindset. The second thing that's also very important is be self-reliant. To me, that is extremely, extremely important, especially if you live abroad and you're by yourself. By being self-reliant, I mean that you need to have this ability to take care of yourself, whether it be financially, take care of your mental health, take care of your physical health, take care of your life, like be an adult, you know, mind your business, take care of your business, be on top of things, and think of your life as, I don't know, whatever your name is, incorporated, and you're the CEO and you have to make sure everything just goes well. Right? So having that kind of mindset and attitude is very, very important. And also have the ability to seek out help when needed, because you are not going to be able to figure out everything. Okay, so if you are in trouble, if you need help, you also have to have this ability to go to the person who can provide that for you. So the way I see things is I try to always do things on my own, and if it's just too much or something I just don't know about, I have no shame going to someone else and ask for help, by proving also to that person that I've tried to do it on my own, but because of XYZ I cannot, therefore I am coming to you. That's the kind of attitude you want to have. You don't want to be the person who just dumps everything on everybody else and have everybody just see you as, oh, I don't know, like an extra baggage that they need to carry. You don't want to be that person. However, if you try and you cannot figure it out, there's no shame in asking for help. So I also need you to have that kind of ability as well. Another thing also is resilience. It's not going to be pretty all the time. It's not going to be great all the time. You are going to go through some tough period. And being resilient is going to come in handy in your ability to handle yourself and your emotion. But at the end of the day, you kind of have to remember that I'm pretty sure the reason why you're moving abroad is so that you can have a better life and better experiences and enjoy yourself. So you kind of have to keep that in mind as well, and make sure that you are happy where you are and you are enjoying where you are. Otherwise, it just defeats the purpose of going all the way to a foreign country where your family and your friends are nowhere to be seen on a daily basis. Trust me, it can be very hard. So you have to make sure it is worth it. So I hope my tips and my pillars were useful to you. If you are about to embark on this journey and you have no idea where to begin, I would consider that you take, all those pointers into consideration and think about what I just said in the video. And if you feel like, you know what, I have that kind of mindset, I have that kind of money, and I have a plan, then kudos to you. Kudos to you. Go after your dream, go after that destination where you think your future lies, and where you feel like you are going to be able to grow into a better person and have some fun and meet some new people, etc. So that would be my wish to you, or for you. I don't even know. Oh, English can be so hard sometimes. But yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you in the next one. And until then, take very good care of yourselves. Bye.